What's up, YouTube? We're back here today. I know it's been a while since I showed up on a long format video here, and just wanted to let you guys know there was a new addition to the family. So I am taking care of the family now and leaving the shooting and recording, filming aside. But I'm trying my best to keep you guys entertained and bring content to you guys. And today is no different. Today we have on my hands here the new Kimber 2K11. This is probably the cheapest of their double stack 1911 lineup, and you can find this for probably under 2K. And I am here to show you guys some of the features, what I like about the gun, what I don't like about the gun. I had the chance to shoot it once, and I put probably like a mag or two through it. So I know it's a smooth gun, but I don't want to give you guys my opinion on how it shoots just yet because, as you guys know, I like to have at least 250 rounds at least through the gun to tell you guys how it really feels. But all that aside, I'm going to tell you guys what I like, what I don't like, point out a few features of this gun, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Please don't forget to subscribe, leave a like if you like this video, and leave down in the comments anything else you want to know about this gun. All right, so let's talk about it. This is a 5-inch double stack 1911. And as you guys can see, this is completely black other than your trigger shoe and your barrel. So this barrel is fluted and it is PVD coated. So it's like a Coyote bronze or something like FDE, something like that. It does look really good in my opinion, and it kind of matches the trigger, but they are very like slightly different. No big deal, but if you're looking for a perfect match, this is not gonna be it. The barrel itself has these, it's fluted. I think it looks really good. It is a crowned barrel, as you can see here. And as far as the barrel, it feels very smooth and there's a pretty tight lockup. So there's no actual play on the barrel here, which is what you look for on a accurate 2011. This version of the gun comes with an aluminum grip, and the Kimber 2K11 features an external extractor. So instead of like your regular 2011 that you have the internal extractor, this one is an external extractor, which means you don't need to tune your extractor because these use like a spring system and they're always going to be spot on. Racking the gun feels really smooth out of the box, and I was curious, like this feels really smooth. And when I removed the slide here, I disassembled the slide, but this slide comes with a Marvel cut for the disconnector. For those who don't know, the Marvel cut is this guy right here, which just like clears enough room for the disconnector to engage and disengage without bumping on a surface. And having that cut gives this gun a very smooth feel when you're racking the slide. The disconnector hang up that sometimes you see on a Prodigy, on the Max, it's non-existing on this gun. As far as fitment, this is a sub 2K gun, so I was expecting it to be a little better than it is, but still not as tight as, for example, like my Atlas Athena or like a Staccato XC. It does have a very little play, just very minimal, nothing concerning. And as far as I can tell, shooting the 2 mags I shot through this gun, it's still a very accurate gun. Like I said, you're looking for a tight barrel lockup, which this one has. The gun's internals are, as far as I can tell, MIM, which is, it's not a big deal, but because nowadays, you get MIM parts that are going to last thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds. But, for the price point, I would prefer if it was tool steel internals. But, no big deal. I mean, they work really good. They work fine. Here is the engagement and disengagement of the safeties using both sides. This is an ambidextrous safety. The right side is quite thin. The left side is a little thicker, a little wider, so you can engage and disengage it better. This version of the gun does not come with the drilled and tapped mag release button, but you can still, easily engage that mag release without moving your grip too much. And speaking of mags, this gun comes with 3 magazines out of the box. Kimber is sending you 3 mags, 2 20-round mags and 1 17-round mags. And as far as I can tell, these are checkmate mags. And what I like about the Kimber ones is that the base plate for the 20-rounder is a little thinner than your usual Prodigy mag or any other mags, or any of the 20-rounder mags with the thicker base plates. So this can, as you can see, there's a little bit of a gap here, but it can easily clear a mag well. And speaking of mag well, this does not come with a mag well. There is a little bit of a flare here on your grip, but there is no mag well with this gun when you purchase. That's why this is, the cheapest on the lineup, because you don't have a mag well, you don't have a drilled in tapped mag release button. But other than that, you do have a bunch of features that come on the most expensive version. You can feel that on the left side of the safety when you're like presenting the gun and ready to shoot. It has a hotspot right here, which I'll try to show you guys. I ride the safety on my 1911s, and this is what it looks like. And as you can see, right over here is where the safety kind of bothers me a little bit, because it's like a small hotspot. And after shooting it for a while, this is gonna hurt you a little bit. So I would prefer that Kimber did a better job of blending the safety, but this is an easy, replacement part. You can get an Atlas safety or any other safety and pop it in here, and it's gonna work just fine. So I think other than the MIM and the safety, everything else on this gun is pretty decent. Now I'm gonna talk about a couple features that I really like about this gun, and the first one is going to be the tag front sights. So it comes with tag sights, and for those who don't know, these are fiber optic sights, but different than your regular fiber optic, where you have a hole where you put the fiber optic, you burn both ends of the fiber optic, and that gives you your sight. This one is a little different. So I don't know if you guys can see here on the corner of their packaging, but this one, you actually have a screw here on the front. I think you guys can see the screw. And where you are aiming down sights, you have the fiber optic. So how you do it is you put the fiber optic in here, and then you screw the muzzle portion of it, which in my opinion is a little better, because you have a thicker fiber optic, and you minimize the risk of that front of the fiber optic burning down or melting again as you're shooting it and the gun gets hot, and then you losing that fiber optic. So I really like the fiber optic on this gun and the sights on this gun. I do wish they were taller. So these are not sights that are going to co-witness with your red dot. And speaking of red dot, it comes and it uses CN8 precision plates, optics plates, right here. And we're going to install them together and put a red dot on this gun right now. Okay, guys, so we have the Kimber here in my hand. So we're going to change the rear iron sights for our CNH precision 2K11 RMR SRO plate. And for that, I'm going to use my new Vivor screwdriver, and I want to show you guys this because I'm gonna leave a link in the description below for this tool here. This is a screwdriver. You get a load of different tips for it, different bits for it. You have your regular Phillips, you have a flathead, you have a bunch of Torx bits, you have some hex bits, and in my opinion, this is a must-have tool for anyone that does anything to their firearms, including adding, optics plates or red dots, because this gives you enough adjustments for your red dots. So when you use this, you use the correct torque specifications for your optics, and you minimize the chances of your optics flying off or your screws loosening up. 90% of the time, the problems you're going to have with your optics coming loose is because you don't use the correct torque specs. So let's go ahead. Let me grab the correct torques bit, and we are going to do this installation right now. So here you have your optics plate. I'm going to go ahead and unscrew these guys right here and right here. Remove this outside. I'm just going to make sure this is dry. Here's our gun. I'm going to get the CNH precision. So how this works is we have two S7 nuts here that we have to add to our plate before we add it to the gun. But there, we now add it to the gun. All right, and we start adding our screws. So I'm gonna add one screw first, just to kind of lock it in place. Okay, and I have them set at 25-inch pounds. And what I'm gonna do now is a little dab of Loctite, very small. Let's put another one in there. Oop, there it goes. And I like to do them kind of like cross threaded. So I did that corner. Now I'm going to do this corner. We're going to go all the way down. All right. Not tightening it just yet. And I'm going to do the same with the other two. Okay, so now I have 4 screws in there. What I'm going to do is go through and torque it to spec. Okay. All right, we're good to go with the plate. And now we're going to install the optic. And for that, I have here a Sealy Chameleon SR-S8. So for those who don't know, this is what people call the poor man's SRO. You see that beautiful dot in there. We're going to go ahead and install it. So we put it in there. 2 screws. Tighten them. 1, 2. No. This is actually 20. This one, so we push it here and turn it around. So you find 20 right there. We're going to go in 1 here and 1 here. All right. Okay, so optic installed. Gun feels great. This is the optic installed in the gun, and hope you guys can see the dot. But this is what it looks like with the Sealy Chameleon. And now let's check our trigger pull, see how it feels. This is completely out of the box. I haven't touched anything internally on this gun. And I'll show you guys because I was really impressed with the trigger on this one. I think it has a very good take up. It has a very good reset out of the box. And it is a 3.5 pound trigger. So here's my scale zeroed, and we're gonna put it in on the table here. And all right, exactly 3.5 pounds to the line here. I'll do it again. Yeah, just under 3.5 pounds. So here is take up. As you can see, it's a very short take up. Breaks at the 3.5 pound mark, and here is the reset. Very short reset. I didn't have to adjust anything. Even though you have the adjustment screw here for the reset, I haven't had to touch the adjustment on this gun. So I think out of the box, you know, very good trigger pull, very good trigger take up and reset. So I'm very pleased with this one. As I always like to say, this is a sample of one, so yours may be different, but this is what I got out of the box. One last thing about this gun is once you put the red dot on, you do have a red dot in there, but you miss your rear sights. So I wish C&H Precision would send this with backup iron sights that you could co-witness with your front sight. And like I mentioned before, I wish those were suppressor height, or you know, you could have a some sort of co-witness, even if it's lower 1/3, because that's how I like my guns. I know that some people, you know, just don't care about the iron sights anymore, but I do like to have the co-witness, or at least have iron sights here on the back, just because I think it looks better. Anyways, this was the introduction to the Kimber 2K11 that I have here on my hands, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you got to know a little bit more about this gun, and if you want to see more about this gun, don't forget to subscribe. Stay tuned, because we're going to have some shooting videos with this, hopefully very soon. Thank you.